And once you have an interview set, you think, well, I'm on track here, but you still got to make it through that. How do you stand out? Money and business expert Derrick Kinney is here with us today to help us ace the job interview. This is kind of the hard part, Derrick.
It sure is, Jason. Great to be with you. Let's help a lot of people get their ideal job this year.
That sounds like a great idea because it sounds like a lot of people are looking for that ideal job this year. So let's dive right in here. You know, once you finally get your foot in the door and get to that interview, you say that the first step is to try to build trust with your interviewer, which can be easier said than done. How do you build trust with the interviewer, Derrick?
Well, let me give you the easy way. And again, my goal here, Jason, is to help each of our viewers stand out. So when they see your resume, they say, they watch Channel 8. They know what they're doing. So the bottom line is you want to let them know why you applied for this job at their company. You want to let them know, look, I've applied several places, but what's made it stand out to apply for this job is, and you talk about why you are a perfect fit for that job and why you like the culture and the research you did makes their company stand out. That's going to build trust. It's going to put you in a whole separate category because you're telling them, here's why I want to work for you and why I want you to hire me.
All right, so you're trying to build their trust there, and then you say that you should try to be memorable in a job interview. Now, hopefully that's in a good way. We all strive to do that, and we're looking for ways to do that without being annoying at the same time. How do you do that, Derrick?
The bottom line is you want to tell memorable stories. We know that when there's facts and figures or a story, even up to 48 hours later, people remember what? The story. And so what you want to do, instead of saying when they ask you, hey, tell me about yourself or why do you want this job, say, you know what, let me tell you a story. And when I worked on my previous job, there were certain things I really enjoyed doing, and here's how we really won for the customer. And it was a really chance to wow them. You want to give them a story that they can connect with and say, wow, I want this employee to be part of the story in my company as well. So you're going to stand out. You can answer a fact and figure question, but ask it and reflect it back in terms of a story, which is what they're going to remember, and again, place you in the memorable category.
Now, Derrick, I'm assuming that you don't want people to memorize those, but you obviously want to tell a true story that is entertaining and doesn't go on forever, and maybe this is something, you pick your best couple of stories from your employment history that you think might be asked about, and maybe do you practice that with somebody ahead of time so it doesn't go on forever and get annoying?
Jason, you stole my thunder right there. You want to write out your highlight reel. And bottom line is you should be practicing the interview ahead of time, having somebody you love ask you tough questions, and practice answering in sound bites, much like I do on these interviews. And you want to be memorable that way. So when you do that, just like athletes and actors and actresses practice, you want to practice acing this job interview and presenting stories in a way that really connect with the interviewer.
Important to do it with someone who loves you, though, because it may take some patience in there.
That's right.
You also talk about being vulnerable, and this one struck me as really interesting, Derrick, because I don't think that a lot of us think about being vulnerable when we go in for a job interview. Tell us what you mean by that.
Well, this may crush a lot of dreams, Jason, but in a typical interview, someone will often say, what do you think is a bad habit you've got, or what is something that you'd like to improve on? And the worst possible answer of all is to say, you know what, Jason, I just work too hard. I just care too much about people. I just gave too much of myself to the company. And the employer is thinking about, that is the fakest answer in the history of the world. Instead, what you want to talk about is admit a mistake that you made and say, you know what, in a past job, one of the mistakes I made was I was asked to follow up and I dropped the ball, but here's what happened. Is I called the client, apologized, owned it, and that relationship led to a deepening of business that we actually grew the company in that relationship. Well, what that happened is you admitted vulnerability, admitted a mistake, which nobody does, and you talked about how you turned that to a positive. You're going to stand out and you're going to say, this is the person I want to hire.
Wow, and that might be your standout thing as well as your vulnerable thing. So you've combined them there and talked about how you turned a loss into a win. That is a really good idea. Since you're hitting on mistakes, let's close with that. There's so many mistakes that can be made in a job interview. I think I've made several. What do you think is one of the more common ones that people make?
Well, this is one where you have to let humility at the door. And when you leave the interview, whether it's virtual or in person, you want to look them in the eye and say, I believe I am the best person for this job. I want you to hire me. And then pause. And you want to let them know that you want this job, you feel like it's a great fit, and you've told them now you want the job. Now they're faced with, they've got to tell you something, either the next step, or you know what, we agree, we'd like to hire you. So you put them in the hot seat, but you've got to tell them, if you believe it, I'm the best person, hire me. You'll be shocked by how quickly either a second interview or the offer comes in your email box.
Interesting. I really do hope that this helps some folks out because I know that labor market is still a really good one out there, but it has tightened up a little bit from where we were, during much of last year. So hopefully that helps. Derrick, thanks as always for doing this with us.
My pleasure, Jason. Hopefully it helps a lot of people get the jobs they want.
Making us smarter and hopefully getting the job for us here. Derrick Kinney, the CEO of Good Money Framework. Thanks for being with us today. We'll be right back after this.